What's going on YouTube? Today we're doing Postman from HackTheBox. The reason I'm doing Postman from HackTheBox is that it's part of Pawn with Metasploit track, which we are doing. As you can see, we have only 3 machines left to finish this track. Again, if you want to access all of the machines tied to this track, you can find it with the playlist in the video description. Playlist of Pawn with Metasploit. Okay, so this machine is relatively easy. It revolves around the Redis data structure tool, or as I call it, the NoSQL database. We're going to exploit this database to gain a limited access or limited shell access, from which we're going to pivot to a Webmin web server running on the machine. We're going to gain admin access, and then we're going to take root. So let's get started. So as you can see here, I did several machine scans. What I found is that the machine is running several open ports, among which are 22 SSH, 80 HTTP, and yes, we have Webmin running along with the version 1.910, and we have, I figured also we have Redis running on port 6379. Redis, as I told you guys, it's a data structure tool, NoSQL database. I'm going to use my nodes today to exploit or enumerate the Redis database. You can find the nodes, as you know guys, in the channel membership tier 2. So here is the guide for enumerating and exploiting Redis database. Okay, so where do we start? So we have several places to start from. We can start from port 80, the regular website running on port 80, but basically you're not going to find anything. Even if you run directory search, even if you enumerate the directories, you're not going to find anything of meaning. That's why we're going to first explore the Webmin running on port 10,000. Knowing that Webmin running on knowing the version of the Webmin, we can also explore or find out if there is a matching exploit for this version. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to run a new tab, and we're going to say search exploits Webmin. So the version is 1.910, and that is the exploit we want: package updates, remote command execution, Metasploit. So if we run MSF console, it's not going to be that easy, right? But we're just taking the path here, the intended path of the machine, and exactly the supposed path you should take when you enumerate a machine or you do pen testing. You just figure out as if you don't know what's happening. So basically here, MSF console, so search, type, exploit, name, Webmin. That's the exploit you want. We're going to copy that. Oh, yes. So this, use, show options. So obviously guys, we need a password and username, which we don't have. That's why we're going to keep this here for now. Let's copy the IP address and access the service on 10,000. As you can see, the web server is running in SSL mode. Try the URL. So you have guys to add the Postman. You have to add this to the host file. If you don't know how to do that, no problem. What you can do, you can just say cat etc hosts. As you can see, I have an entry added in my host file that's associates the IP address here with the Postman. Once you do that, okay, you'll be able to click on that and access the service. As you can see, username and password. That's fine. We're going to figure out the username and password, and then we're going to use them in the Metasploit exploit here. Okay, so keep this here, split view, left, right, and then we're going to use the or we're going to connect to the Redis database here, Redis server. To do that, we're going to go back to my notes and see the guidelines. So Redis-CLI-H, and comes the IP address. So Redis CLI. Okay, we are connected. Get user to get the current username. If we get nil, it means there is no username, and the database might be running as Redis. So the user running database could be Redis. There is a high chance for this. You can retrieve the information or the configuration of the Redis server by saying info or typing info. As you can see, you get configuration of the CPU, the replication, the stats. More importantly, we get information about the Redis version 4.09, the operating system, TCP port it's running on, and the executable location, the configuration file. But obviously we don't have the installation path. Now this is the configuration file of the Redis installation, right? This is the location of the executable where you can execute Redis to start a server instance. But where is the installation path? To do that, or to find out this, we're going to use get or config get dir. Timed out. Wow. Connect again. Seems like we have a problem in the connection. Are we disconnected? So we are connected, but something happened to the server. Ping. Now we see what's going on. So let's reset the machine. Okay, so we restored access. Let's try the command again. Config get dir. As you can see, this is the installation path of the current Redis installation. This is very important. It will come in handy later when we want to exploit the database. Now, the first thing to note about this Redis server is that there is no authentication. So I wasn't prompted to put a username and password, which means that this is the first misconfiguration or the first deadly mistake in this machine. So don't expose Redis database to the public unless you put an authentication mechanism represented by username and password. Now, as you can see, we learned now the installation path. So what else we can do? So writing public SSH key to the server. So basically here, since we can access the database server, and most probably we want first, before we try to import any SSH key to the database server, we're going to need to find out if we have right access. To test that, let's try to set a username. Set user my name, and it says okay. If I get user now, as you can see, this is my username. It means I can set, I can do set operations in the database, which means I might have right access. To test this out, we're going to generate a public key. So since I did that already, you're going to issue SSH-key generation-TRSA. This is going to generate a public key, guys. Public and a private key for your machine, for your username. You're going to, if you are running as a normal user like me, username is Kali, you're going to find these combinations of public and private key under the following path: cd or say ls-la home. This is the path. As you can see, this is the private key and this is the public key. Now, in order to get what our objective here, guys, is to import the public key, my public key here, to the authorized lists or authorized hosts of this machine. Okay. Now, why I need to do this? if I do that, I can then log in to the SSH server as the user running database server. So, but the thing is, we're doing this through database server Redis. Why? Because we have write access. Once you have write access, you can then smuggle your public key, okay, through, of course, through the Redis database to the authorized hosts list of the server. If you put your public key here in the authorized hosts in the target server, you're going to log in, or be able to log in to the target server with your private key. So we have the private key now. We need to smuggle this public key to the target server through the Redis database here. The first step to achieve this, okay, you're going to first export or take the public key into a text file. So I did that already. As you can see, I put it under key text. So cat key text, and this is my public key. As you can see, we have 2 lines here, before and after the public key. This is very important to get the proper format. To do that, you can use this command. So let me copy that. I'm not going to execute it, just going to explain it. So as you can see, 2 lines, 2 line breaks, and 2 line breaks before and after the public key, right? So this is the content, or this is the path to the public key, and then I redirect the output of this command, okay, to a file called public key.txt. Obviously, I named it key here, as you can see. So if you execute this command, you're going to get this file. Okay. Suppose that you get this file, ls, that's the file. Now the next step is to get back to where we are interacting with the Redis server, and we need to change. Let me get back to this. So this is an installation path of the Redis server. We need to create a directory so that the backup location of the Redis will be like var lib redis /.ssh. To do that, we're going to execute this command. I'm going to explain them word by word. So config, this is the command we use in Redis to set parameters. Set, to change a value of an existing parameter, and since I am changing or adding something as a directory, I'm using the directory keyword here and specifying the directory. So I'm adding .ssh here. Why? Because I want to import my public key to the server. So I need to add this here. So I don't know why this keeps timing out and disconnecting. Let me try to re-execute the command. Okay, as you can see, we received okay. It means that we have successfully written this directory. The next step is to set the DB file name, or the DB, where is that? Yeah, so we're going to set authorized keys, right, as the DB file name. Why authorized keys? I said earlier, guys, because authorized keys is the file that contains all of the approved public keys that we can use to log in. Once we get this to work, we're going to be able to log into the SSH server. Let me check on the machine. Is it working? Yeah, as you can see, this machine is not stable. It just disconnects every time. This is typical of HackTheBox machines, especially the retired ones. Okay, so this worked. Let's now type save. And now let's try to log in with our private key. So new tab, SSH-I, and this is the full command. As you can see, I have specified my private key, the full path of my private key, and this is the username of the Redis installation, and this is the IP address. I'm supposed to log in now without asking the password, but I'm asked to input the password, which is not expected. Let's see here. I think we forgot one step, guys. If you scroll up, we did not, as you can see here, guys, we did not import the key to the Redis installation. So we're going to take this. Okay, let's change that. We're going to end the current connection, and then this is the key that we need to import, right? So we're going to say cat key.text. Yes. So the contents of the public key will be transferred or transported to the Redis server and set as p key. P key is a name, just you can change the name of this key. P key holds the value of the public key here. So we're going to connect. Obviously, after we do that, we're going to be able to log in. So we received OK, which means that we have imported or transferred the public key as p key to the Redis server. Let's now connect back and re-execute the commands here one more time. Okay, and the other one. And save. Getting back here to log in with our private key. And as you can see, guys, we logged in as Redis. So right now we achieved the first milestone of this challenge. We have a limited, or let's say shell access ID, and I am the user Redis. The next step now is to escalate the privileges. But first, let's figure out what are the users under etc password. So cat etc pass wd. As you can see, those who can log in are Redis and Matt, in addition to the root user. So the next target is to escalate from Redis to Matt. Okay. Now, as you know, guys, there are multiple ways to escalate the privileges. You can just transfer many of the privilege escalation tools and run them here, such as Linux exploit suggester, other tools, right? Or we can just do enumeration. But let's now save our time and stick to what works in this challenge. So cd/opt. There is a weird file here, id_rsa backup. If we cat this file, cat id, and as you can see, this is a private key, but it's encrypted with DES. So what we can do, guys, we can copy this private key to my local machine and decrypt it. But first we have to, of course, we can decrypt this with John the Ripper, but we have to use SSH to John. Since this is an SSH key, we have to convert it to a proper format. So let's see here. I already did this. So encryption key, cat encrypted key, is the encrypted private key after I copied it to my local machine, and I use SSH to John, as you can see here, to convert encrypted underscore key to a proper format. I named it as encrypted underscore key underscore converted. Okay, so if you cat now, cat underscore, as you can see, this is the proper format. Then we can use John the Ripper with the word list raw q to decrypt this or find the password. As you can see, because I did this already, I'm going to use --show Wait. So as you can see, this is the password, computer 2008. Now we know that there is a user in the machine named Matt, and we have a password, computer 2008. We can then use the combination of these to log in to the Webmin. Or what we can do, since we have established a shell as Redis, we can try to change it from Redis to Matt with this password. There is a high chance that Matt is using the same password for both logging in to the Webmin interface and for the Linux password. So Matt computer 2008, and now we are logged into the Webmin admin interface. Let's get back. Obviously the session got stuck, so I'm gonna end it and establish a new one. So Matt computer 2008, and we're logged in as Matt. So it worked both on SSH and the Webmin interface. What's next? As you can see, the Webmin, this is the version 1.910, and we knew it was vulnerable. So now we can use the Metasploit exploit here. We can fill out the information, say for example set password computer 2008 password, right? Set username to Matt, set lhost, my IP address, and exploit. So our host, yeah, we forgot our hosts. And one thing, guys, don't forget to set SSL as true. Why? Right? Because it's using SSH HTTPS here. So set SSL true, exploit. As you can see, we were able to get a session cookie. Now, without us setting the SSL to be true, we wouldn't have been able to get the session cookie, right, guys? So as you can see, with command shell opened. Let's see now what is the username that we got. ID. Okay, we restored the session now. As you can see, I am the root user. So cat root text, and you get the flag. So that was it, guys. I hope you find this enjoyable and informative, and I will see you in the next video.